一刀流居合獅子孫孫。
うっせえ行こう逃げたお前は俺の仲間だ
何も分かった。
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, got an interesting one for you today. I'm going to be asking the question, which villain has Luffy lost to the most? Now, obvious spoiler warning for this video, I'm going to be covering most of the manga, so if you're not up to date or relatively close, probably don't watch this one today and come back another time. I was just thinking about, what videos I could do moving forward, and this popped into my head, interesting question, and I know what my prediction was initially when I thought of this idea, and it's pretty close to what the outcome is. So I'm going to be doing a top 3 today, because as we know, Luffy has fought many villains throughout the whole story, and a lot of them he actually lost to, at least once before getting his final victory. So I'm going to be doing a top 3 today, with number 1 being the villain that Luffy has lost to the most times. Now there's 2 rules I want to cover off before I get into this. The first one is I'm not going to be including filler. So no filler arcs and no filler movies. Frankly, because I don't care about filler near as much. But yeah, just secondly and mainly because it's not canon. So would, Luffy really have lost to those villains? Maybe not. Like a good example is in One Piece film Zed. He loses to Zed twice, and then he finally beats him the 3rd time. So not going to be including filler. And the second one is, out of all of canon One Piece, I'm not going to be including the Marineford arc, because there's many times throughout this where it's almost certain he's going to lose in certain fights. Like the Admiral's essentially taken out several times, but someone usually comes in to save him, or someone helps him recover. So basically, without the help of others coming in clutch, he loses many times in Marineford. And even, against Smoker or Mihawk, they had him under the ropes, but someone else came in clutch, like Hancock or Vista, So not going to be including Marineford, because you could argue there's, 5 to 10 times Luffy lost here. So no Marineford, no filler. So without further ado, let's get into it. My top 3. So number 3 is actually a share of many different villains, and the count for this number of defeats is 1. So many villains beat Luffy at least once, and there's probably about 5 to 10 of these throughout the whole story. And to name a few, there was Lucci, Caesar, Smoker back in Logtown, Magellan in Impel Down, Aokiji, and so on. And several of these could have killed Luffy if they wanted to. Like, one thing that villains tend to do a lot in One Piece is they'll beat Luffy initially, and they'll sort of just leave him there to die, or something else will happen, and they don't take him out then and there. And I've talked about certain arcs before in my other videos, and yeah, villains tend to underestimate Luffy a little bit. Like, if they finished him off the first chance they got, that would have been the end of the story. But of course, Luffy's the main character, we want him to win, so things tend to work out. But yeah, so in my top 3, number 3 is many different villains at 1 win over Luffy, I guess. So, number 2, and this is who I actually thought would be number 1 when I thought of making this short little video, which is Crocodile at 2 times. He beat Luffy twice before Luffy finally beat him. As we know, this all happened in Alabasta. The first time was in the desert, when Luffy told his crew to go on to the capital and he stayed back, and he couldn't even touch Crocodile. Crocodile impaled him, he even put the timer out. Oh man, the disrespect from Crocodile there. The second fight was a bit more even, like Luffy at least figured out how to touch Crocodile by using water, but in the end he still lost. And again, you could argue Crocodile should have finished him off here instead of just dropping him down, because Luffy strategically shot those bubbles of water up in the air to save himself. but nonetheless he did lose again before finally beating Crocodile in the end. And number 1 on this very short list today, to answer the question, which villain has Luffy lost to the most in all of Canon One Piece, is Kaido, the most recent antagonist in the story. I guess excluding Green Bull, but you know, Luffy's main antagonist, villain, opponent. At a total of 4 times. And I am being a little bit nitpicky here, so let me explain these 4 moments. The first one was when Luffy and crew first got to Wano, and Kaido basically one-hits him, and then sends Luffy off to Uden. Again, he could have finished him off, but he actually had the intent of originally recruiting Luffy and Kid to his crew, you know, breaking them essentially so they'll change their mind, but that obviously never happened. So that was the first time. The next 3 are during Roof Piece, if you will. Very popular nickname for the final portion of Onigashima, I guess. And the first one happened actually very recently in the anime, and I believe it's in chapter 1009 or 1010. It's actually the moment where Zoro uses Conqueror's Haki for the first time, which is an epic, iconic One Piece moment. Absolutely loved it. Personally, I did prefer it in the manga, but that is another debate. Now this one's a bit of a technicality, so I call this one a defeat, because if Zoro and Law didn't intervene, Kaido would have finished Luffy off right then and there. I mean, he was even talking about destroying his eyes first, or his brain, you know. And the fact that I call this one a defeat, as opposed to others, is because Luffy's eyes went to the back of his head. Like, he looked unconscious. And Kaido made the same comment he made when he first beat Luffy, which was that Luffy was somehow still, like, giving him the dirty eye while being unconscious, you know, looking angry. So that's why I put those 2 on the same level. Even though this was only for a few moments and Luffy, you know, comes back, he was still technically unconscious for a little period there. So I do count it, but even if we say Kaido only beat Luffy 3 times, he's still at the top of this list today, regardless. Now, the 3rd time on my list was once Luffy figures out how to use Advanced Conqueror's Coating on his attacks, and they fight for a while and he sends everyone else down. We cut ahead after going down and watching a lot of the other Tobiroppo fights down below, and we cut back to Kaido throwing Luffy off Onigashima. And he says something like, "I guess you aren't Joy Boy either." And Luffy, yeah, is looking messed up, man. Again, Kaido could have finished him off, but he doesn't. And later he actually says, "Oh, I should have brought everyone your head, otherwise they won't believe that you actually died." And yes, he should have, once again, underestimating Luffy to a certain extent. But, you know, he does chuck him in the ocean. And, you know, if Law's crew wasn't there to pick him up, and if Luffy didn't unlock this ability to communicate, which I'm not sure nowadays, now that we've seen Shanks's Conqueror's Haki, like, being able to speak through it, I'm not sure if Luffy was using Conquerors at that point, or if it was more like this voice of all things that lets Momo talk to Zanisha, for example. So I'm not sure which one it was, but, you know, Luffy, regardless, unlocked this communication ability, and he got Law's crew to help him. So that was the 3rd time he got beaten by Kaido. And the last time was when he makes his epic return with Momo, comes up the top. Looks like we're about to get the finale of the battle, and the CP0 agent jumps in and holds Luffy, and bang! Kaido borderline kills Luffy. Like, there's some comments about Luffy's heartbeat stopping, essentially. And the way it comes back is he, as we know, awakens his fruit, and his sun god Nika, aka Joy Boy form, comes out, I guess. And then the rest is history. And then, as we know, he defeats Kaido, which is pretty epic. So there you have it. Which villain has Luffy lost to the most? And the answer is Kaido. Which, you know, being the strongest enemy we faced so far in One Piece, does absolutely make sense. So there you have it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's someone I've obviously missed that's beaten Luffy 5 times and I've just forgotten about it. I'll be very curious, but I think I covered it. And again, if you have any other ideas for videos, any cool tier lists, you know, you want me to do, just let me know and I'll give it a go, as always. But thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, thanks guys. Cheers.